was them. You see, because they already know that their day is up. You see, so it's very interesting on how these things happen. So I'm just thinking,
it's almost like it's a conspiracy behind the conspiracy.
Exactly. More people gain interest in it, then it empowers them. You see. So this is how
the caller number is 646-727-2039. Once again, we're on the radio today with Brother Bobby Hemmitt, live from Atlanta, Georgia. Before we take some calls, I see a lot of people calling in. I want to ask you how important, because we were just talking about fear.
Yeah.
How important is confidence? Something as simple as confidence in this day and time. A lot of people don't get into the science of confidence. How important is it for people to have confidence in this day?
Confidence is the basis of anything working. Things don't work not unless you internalize them. And so the confidence is the basis of it. The confidence is actually knowing. It's the affirmation of knowing. Take, for instance, a brother called me from Sweden, and this brother, I think his family's from Uganda. And he talks about he plays football. As we know, in Sweden, that's called soccer. And he said he's getting ready to be this great soccer star and all of this type of thing. But one of the things about it is he said he has this energy of some low energy that's been plaguing him for the last couple of years, whereas he don't have a lot of energy. So I told him to take this spiritual bath and do all this, and then the first thing he said was, well, if that don't work, and I'm like, my God, man, you just defeated the whole process. Why even call me? If in your head you say, if it don't work, I say, you have already defeated the process. You see what I'm saying? By not having confidence in anything, in any type of thing. You see what I'm saying? He's already going to the next remedy. Well, if that don't work, I'm like, well, my goodness, the next remedy ain't going to work either, because it's all based on your belief system and your confidence and your knowing. So that's the empowerment of all of this. You have to internalize it, and that's what happened we see now. And I can say this by being in this conscious movement for over 20-something years. I've seen people come in this movement and leave, go back to church, go back to the streets, or go back to what have you, is because, and they say, well, what happened? That's because they didn't internalize it. I have seen people who sell the tapes and put on the lectures. And they be the least one that have the knowledge and stuff, because the simple fact, they didn't internalize what they dealt with. And as a result, the knowledge just becomes data. It just becomes data. It just becomes these words and this loud noise or this stuff, and they just basically, they sell it. I'm not talking about you, and I'm just talking about, because I'm talking about people who had been in this thing for years, and not been in this thing for years, and they simply are just as dead as the day they started, and they've been dealing with this particular information for over 20-something years, but they didn't internalize it, and so that's what confidence comes to know and stuff. That's one of the bases of this. One of the bases of this. And you must ask yourself the question, why are you in this consciousness? Are you in this consciousness for mere entertainment? Or are you in this consciousness because you sincerely want to know? See, wanting to know is the greater thing than even saying, well, I'm in this because I want to change and better my life. Well, see, sometimes better in your life, if your life changed for the better, you might forget the knowledge. Oh, I'm doing all right now. So this thing is just for the sheer to just know. Not knowing has to be a curse to you. To not know must be torment. And once you get on that level that's torment to not know, then you got it. Because it means that basically you ultimately want to know, and one of the great ways to know is you got to internalize this thing. You want to get it to the point where it comes innate. Whereas whenever you hear it, you can discern whether it's true or false. Not based on a whole bunch of evidence, but based on what's coming from inwardly. Because the simple fact here is this stuff is being drawn up out of us.
Well, how do you feel about the people, and I get people often that come to me if I try to present certain information to them, that say, man, I got bills to pay, I ain't got time to think about all that shit you talking, whether it's, spiritual entities or going to the fourth, fifth dimension, astral traveling, they just...
But what they don't realize is, right. And what they don't realize is the paying the bills and the money that you get is the same kind of energy that the energy we talking about. All this is a form of energy. And whether you receive it monetary, because a lot of times monetary don't necessarily have to, whether it's monetary, a lot of times prosperity don't have to be monetarily, but it's still on the same plane, whether it's monetary or whether it's prosperity, it's the same energy. And so my point here is to cut yourself off from that energy. You're still cutting yourself off from the prosperity and the monetary. There's an old saying. They say, follow knowledge and the money will run to you. Follow money and the money will run away from you. You see what I'm saying? It'll run away from you. Now, you might think you might be doing all right. Yeah, I'm making it, man. But what has happened here is you might think that, but you got to make a certain amount of money to keep that status going. And if that process drops just 1 inch, you will see that money run from you. And it will because everything down here ebbs and flows, including the process of prosperity. It ebbs and flows, and you got to understand that we're dealing with energies. So, we're dealing with energies and stuff. So, and just like I say, those people are just ignorant, and basically they will suffer until they learn. You see, but you don't try to force it on them, because that's a part of the karmic pattern. If you forced it on them, then here goes again, they won't internalize it, and therefore they'll be right back the way they were a couple of months or a couple of years later. They have to come to it. You see what I'm saying themselves? They have to make that choice, and that's when you get the benefits, when you come to it. You see, yes.
How do you feel about the state of consciousness in the black community right now?
Well, it's, believe it or not,
do you feel as though we're advancing metaphysically? Do you feel as though we're finally getting these esoteric teachings?
Well, based on the laws of the way this thing is supposed to go, we are advancing metaphysically because we don't count quantity. You see what I'm saying? Quantity is an illusion. We only count quality. We only count the people that woke up to receive it. You see what I'm saying? So in that particular case, if you're dealing with quantity, you would say you would be discouraged. But then again, if you understand knowledge and understand energy and stuff, we're not talking about necessarily quantity. We're talking about quality. And we're talking about the nucleus. So in that particular case, yes, the nucleus is getting strong. Because it's not necessary, because our ability to prosper is not necessarily in numbers. We should understand that just by studying the Jewish community. They're small in numbers compared to the mass total. You see what I'm saying? They're small in numbers. You see what I'm saying? But, you see, the quality of their life, you see what I'm saying, is a lot greater, you see what I'm saying, than the quantity of their lives. You see what I'm saying? So having power, this is one of the problems that we have when we get discouraged. Having power does not necessarily exist in numbers. The people who rule the earth, case in point, is they say it's what, 5,000 total out of billions of people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we must understand this and stuff because, and what had happened was that we were trained from the 1960s, these mass movements, and we've never been able to break that cycle. You know, these mass movements and these movements, these civil rights movements and all, where we had to get a mass amount of people. You see what I'm saying? But what we don't realize is when we're talking about true power, never rules based on quantity. It always rules based on a nucleus. Based on a nucleus. You see what I'm saying? So in that particular case, our strength is real powerful based on, we only need a small group of people to get it. The other people, they're spectators. We just fill them up just to get the event through, to get the event to teach those few people that we need to reach, because everybody don't wake up the same time. You see, so in so many words, don't monitor your success based on the mass amount of people you see out here suffering, or the mass amounts of people out here you see that's making asses out of themselves. That's not important. Plus, you got to realize this. That's actually our plight where we see people, the downtrodden, is a great decoy. Because the ruling powers will look and go, man, those people that are so much in disarray, I don't have to worry about them. We can leave them alone. So therefore, we are free to go about and do our thing and get the right information to the right people. So in so many words, that's the decoy they block for us. So the more savage they get, that's good. Because we don't want, because our rise should not be visible. You see what I'm saying? It's just like the people that rule us. We don't know nothing about them. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, it all works in an ecological system. The things out here that you're seeing, it's all messed up. It's supposed to be that way because the simple fact here is that's where the diamond comes through the rough. You see? And so that's what's happening. So everything actually is in order. The neophyte always thinks it's in disarray, but the higher depth understands that it's all going in a great ecological system. You see?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the first call, Brother Bobby. Let's see what questions the people out here got for you. Once again, the calling number 646-727-2039. Let's yes, hello, caller, are you there?
Peace.
Yes, how you doing? Who's calling?
Peace.
Yeah, who's calling, brother?
This Brother Rashid. What's happening?
Hey.
What's happening, brother?
Man, I'm sitting here getting educated as usual. You know.
Yeah, brother.
Bobby.
Yeah, we need to rap. Yeah, we need to rap afterwards. You know.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
telling you.
Yo, more of a statement than a question. The statement is you kind of encapsulated within your final discourse concerning quality and quantity, basically what we're doing when we're bringing you and Brother Valentine into New York. We were supposed to do it on the 6th and 7th. However, we had a little glitch. You know, Mercury is in retrograde, so we charge it to the celestial bodies for giving us more time to plan. Because, you know, retrograde periods when you plan, you really don't do. So, yeah, we do got to check, Bobby, to get the date out to people, the real official date. However, the name of our event is called the Minority Report, and that's essentially who we addressing that day.
There you go.
The minority.
It's the same thing.
Because the minority are the ones with the power.
Exactly.
The group, the large number, are the 1,000-headed ass.
Yeah.
And the 1,000-headed ass they have 1,000. They have 1,000 heads, and all of them are seeking an individual agenda, so that the ass ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Right. So
yeah, it's interesting here that you would say you would name it the Minority Report, and it's interesting how something will be named, and a couple of weeks or months later, not even knowing that it's named that, I forgot the name of the lecture. And we hit upon the same subject, and that's synchronicity, but that's letting you know that everything is in order. But you're right, it's so that's interesting when you the whole Minority Report thing. You see,
right?
Ironically,
they do run the world with what's called quality of membership.
Exactly.
Any organization, it doesn't matter what the doctrine is. The doctrine could be something absurd. Look at Scientology; it's a mixture of physics and psychology terms and science fiction imagination of L. Ron Hubbard. However, the quality of membership validates that bullshit artifact.
It does. And see, it's interesting. And you create your own reality based on the quality of the people energy you put in it. So yes, that's exactly what it is. And basically, we need to see just who's on top and how they do it. And it's old African science. I mean, the Egyptian priests ran the society. I mean, the Pharaoh was just an image.
At the end of the day, you know, the fact that the priesthood are the ones running the show to this very day.
Exactly. It's and it's an image, and which gives us a certain blueprint on how we need to look at Barack Obama. I just said that the priest ran the show, but the Pharaoh was an image of inspiration to the actual people, and Barack Obama should be nothing but just that. Because if you look at anything beyond him inspiring you, and he said it, he even said it, inspiring you, but if you look at him to change politics for your life to get better, you're going to be fooled. How can a person with an 8-year job at most or a 4-year job actually change your doggone life. Now, it's interesting here because he even said it himself. He said on the day of the mall, it was one of the greatest times in world history when black people got to realize this historical moment.